and this is day 35 of Secret Garden Step by Step, and I will continue with the blue background. And the last time I did this area, and as you can see the color is different than this, so I'm going to change or add different colors of blue on top of the darker blue that is already here, and then hopefully I can create a nice blended look that looks just like here. I'm going to start with the lightest blue that I used for this area, and that is Faber-Castell Light Phthalo Blue. And I'm just adding a light layer. I've been doing a lot of research lately about for my Color Along project, and I think I made a decision. I've been looking for a publisher and also printers. And from day one I had the feeling that I would prefer to do my first project without a publisher, do it myself, and the project has evolved into something different than a book. So I went searching for printers, and that turned out very difficult because the specifics of the paper quality and the ink quality that I'm looking for, many printers say it cannot be done. So I started a research, and I think I know why they say it cannot be done. It can be done, but it is more expensive, and it can only be done if you order a lot of prints. And I researched different paper types and brands, and I came across a list of what paper costs, and I can imagine that for the amount of prints that I would like to start with, it is impossible for a printer to buy the paper only for me. That is not possible. So I get that now. And I decided to go for one printer that I had found, and they have gorgeous paper that is both suitable for a colored pencil and watercolor. It has a bit of cotton in it, so it is perfect with handling moist water and paint. And there is only one problem, that is that the quality of the ink may be an issue. But I decided to order a couple of prints just to see how the ink is doing and to figure out how to work with it. And it could well be that the ink that is being used has, when I start working with it, that maybe it has benefits I don't know about right now. There was this famous soccer player, Johan Cruyff, and he had this saying, every con has its pro. Ieder nadeel heeft zijn voordeel. And what he was saying is that things that seem negative always have a positive thing. So I'm going to look for the positive thing in that ink, because maybe I can put it to use in a very creative way. For example, that ink seems to be erasable. Now that can be a downside, but maybe you can do beautiful things in a coloring page in which you can lightening the ink lines by using the eraser. The ink doesn't disappear completely. So I'm going to look for that, for the positive sides, and then hopefully I can turn this project in a wonderful success. But of course I cannot take the risk of printing thousands and thousands of copies. And then maybe nobody wants to buy it, so I start with a smaller amount. And then if it is a success, I can always, for the next project, search for a printer with a better ink. But you never know. I haven't printed it yet, so it could well be that the ink problem is not so bad, or not bad at all. Okay, now to build contrast, I think this is a beautiful area to use the magical Prussian blue from Bruinzeel. I have at least 3 Prussian blue pencils, one from Bruinzeel, one from Faber-Castell Polychromos, and one from Caran d'Ache. They are all 3 pretty good pencils, but I tend to prefer the Bruinzeel and the Caran d'Ache. But on this Secret Garden paper in my Dutch copy, Bruinzeel is superb. Let's get back to the lighter one, light phthalo blue. This is Polychromos. So for my Color Along project, I'm currently scanning all the drawings that I made. And then hopefully in a couple of days I can order my first test prints. This is phthalo blue, slightly darker than the light phthalo blue. I'll keep a little bit of lightness here around this leaf, and then I can make the leaf a little bit darker. But on the lighter side of the leaf I can make the background slightly darker. Actually, this process of putting contrast, lights and darks in a drawing is what I like most. It takes a while before that phase is starting. Here is the Prussian blue again. I currently started coloring in a new book, coloring book that I received from National Geographic. They asked me to review it, so I started coloring it. And I tried to speed up the process of coloring. I used Prismacolor pencils because they are pretty fast. But now that I want to make it look smooth, I'm getting into trouble because if I lay down the first layers of color too, it was just not thin enough, and then it is almost impossible to get the effects that I love so much. This smoothly blended look of the drawing. This is light phthalo blue again. Okay, I feel that this yellow flower needs a little bit of shading, and yellow, I find yellow one of the most difficult colors. I've heard it from many artists that yellow is such a difficult color, and I decided to give it a warm shading, and I'm going to try this Prismacolor one. It is a risk. It is raspberry, and because Prismacolor is so soft and lays down color so easily, I need to be very careful and have an extreme light touch to give it just that touch of a darker tone. This is, I need to concentrate. And now I'm going to add Cadmium Yellow by Polychromos. I gave it a sharp point because I want to be very precise in what I'm doing. And I want to add a little bit of yellow. On top of what I just did, the raspberry. I like that flower, and I'm going to do exactly the same to this flower. Well, I'm not going to do exactly the same. I'm going to use a different color, dark cadmium orange from Polychromos. And I'm going to use this one to put in a little bit of shadow. I have a feeling that it would be nice to leave this flower a little bit lighter than the one that I just did. That is why I'm choosing a lighter color for the shading, and I can always darken it if I decide that it is too light. And here's the cadmium yellow again. And I'm using a lighter one, light yellow glaze, just to see, you know, I'm just experimenting right now actually. When I make these videos, it's not that I have thought over every step that I take in the videos. Okay, I will now add a little bit of raspberry, the one that I used in the other one. Just a slight touch here and there. I will now add a little bit of color in the background surrounding this flower. And I will do exactly the same as I did with the other flowers. Where the petals are light, I will put darkness. I put a dark color in the background. And this is phthalo blue that I'm using. But there will be, of course, the Prussian blue. I will use that one too. And here is the Prussian blue. I was just looking outside the window and I saw two large pigeons. These pigeons are in our garden. They live in the tree in the neighbor's garden. And at least one of these pigeons has an issue. I think that pigeon has an issue. Because it has been flying into our windows for 5 times now. Now I know birds can see themselves mirrored in a window and then think they need to attack their opponent. But in this case, I don't think that is the case, because this pigeon has flown into windows that he cannot see himself or she. It is not that the pigeon can sit in front of the window and then see itself. So it is really in flight that it bumps into the windows. So I have at this moment 4 windows where you can see a pigeon in. You can see where the pigeon flew into the glass. And it looks weird. You can see the wings. Greasy. It looks greasy because birds are a bit greasy to keep them so that they won't soak when it rains. They stay dry thanks to this greasy feathers. So I will have to wipe my windows again. But this pigeon, I was just looking at it, it looks a bit weird. It looks a bit... Maybe it is sick, or maybe there is something wrong with the eyes. You never know. But this pigeon for sure has an issue. I love the drama that you can put into your words with the English language. For example, if I say in Dutch that there was a car crashed. We say a car crashed against the wall, but the English can say a car crashed into the wall. That sounds so much worse. I love that. I love it. Here is the phthalo blue again. Let's add a little bit of contrast. What was the name of these things? Can I remember what this is called? I researched it, I looked for it, and I thought I remembered it, but I forgot again. Okay, I think these leaves look a bit pale, so I will add a little bit of color. Moss Green by Bruinzeel. I'm currently experimenting with a different way of organizing my pencils. I had them, most of them, in my Derwent carry-all bag. And I loved that bag, but I noticed that when I'm just coloring at home, I actually want all my pencils together. So I'm now experimenting with how I should do that. And I first organize them by color. That is okay. But because every pencil brand has its own specifics, I actually want to make a slight change to what I have been doing, because I also want to keep the brands together. So that is that's nice. I like organizing, and this is a challenge. And I have an idea how I want to organize it, and as soon as I figure it out, I will show you. Maybe it will help you to organize your pencils as well. I still use the Derwent carry-all bag on a regular basis because I take my coloring stuff with me everywhere. And if I do, I pick, when I do, I pick the pencils that I would like to take with me. Now I do not cover the complete leaf with this darker green because I want to maintain the contrast between the darker spots in the background and the leaf. So I will add a lighter color of green right next to the darker areas in the background. The pencil I have right now here, ooh, that looks large. Spring Green by Caran d'Ache. If you do not have this pencil, then pick the lightest green that you have. I will now use the same color, Spring Green, to add a little bit of color to these leaves over here. Just a touch of green. And maybe I can lighten here a little bit, yes. Okay, I think it is enough for today. So I think we have reached the most exciting phase of the drawing, and that is really getting to make this drawing glow and shine. Not shine I do not mean that I want the surface of the paper to look shiny, but I want to give it the feeling that you can just dive into it, or just you can grab the flowers from the paper. Give this 3D effect as much as possible. So next time we will continue, and I hope you will join me again. Bye bye.